It said it's a really rich board. I can always count on ChatGPT to blow smoke up my ass. Hey everyone, my name is JoJo. Most of you guys, I think, that watch this channel are my family and friends, so you probably already know that. But if you don't, if you're one of the 5 other people, my name is JoJo. Makes sense, right? JoJo's Mundane Adventures.
My name's not Alyssa or Anna or what's another name that doesn't start with an A? Maddie or Grace or whatever. It's JoJo.
I am a music teacher. I write songs. I'm a musician, and I also love self-improvement and reading and podcasts, journaling, all that good stuff. So today I am asking ChatGPT to analyze my 2025 and 2026 mood boards / vision boards. Okay, so before we look at what ChatGPT said, we're gonna look at my vision board for 2025. You've probably already at this point seen my 2025 vision board recap where I looked at the vision board, I looked at my camera roll to see if my camera roll matched what I wanted to manifest, and my mood board as well. So, but we're gonna take another look at my vision board from 2025. Okay, and I'm screen recording this over here. So we have Cindy Crawford, we have Sade, we have a microphone, silks, and lace, and turtlenecks, and perfume, and puppies and kittens, and a canopy, and flowers, and a facial, black and white photos of love. Okay, cute. Now let's look at my 2020, oops, this is the wrong one. 2026 board. Has some similarities to the other one, some differences though. You have the music aspect still, a guitar and a keyboard. You have a cat, of course. You have a vanity. You have a lay, nature. I really loved this image of this girl, in a big fur coat. Kind of reminds me of the mob wife aesthetic. Also reminds me of a kind of Slavic girl winter. I also really liked these images that were kind of tropical island. The lei, the hibiscus flower, the lady in the red dress with the free-flowing hair, the girl on the beach. Okay, so this is my 2026 board. Now let's see what Chat had to say. I asked Chat, read my 2026 board, how would you describe it? And it said it's a really rich board. I can always count on ChatGPT to blow smoke up my ass. And it says, core vibe, soft sensuality, grounded femininity, slow intentional living. I think that's pretty true. Ease, warmth, and emotional depth, not hustle or hyper polish, which I think that's true because you do have the image at the top, the lady with the cat, is a little bit more polished in her appearance, but she's playing with a cat, she's not posed. And then you have, of course, the island girls are all just free-flowing, and the girl in the field, nothing's very rigid or posed or anything like that. Okay. Calm, intimate, and nostalgic. Sensual but gentle, not flashy or loud, safe, cozy, and emotionally regulated, romantic in a lived-in, real way. Feminine energy, natural beauty over glam, curves, flow, touch, presence, divine feminine, soft power, confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. Lifestyle cues. I actually love this. Lifestyle cues. Okay, this will give us ideas, or give me ideas for how to actually implement the board. Slow mornings, golden light, quiet evenings, music as ritual, travel that is immersive rather than touristy, connection, comfort and elegance coexisting. And another thing I can actually implement, this is so helpful, aesthetic elements, warm earth tones, creams, rusts, and florals. This is really interesting because I do tend to dress in jewel tones, kind of like this color on my headband. I don't wear too much of white necessarily. I'm wearing white today because it's one of the lucky colors for New Year's, for end of 2025, beginning of 2026. But in general, I'm often in earth tones, jewel tones, kind of warm, deep, saturated colors. Linen, silk, knits, bare skin, flowers and hair, minimal jewelry, candlelight. I actually have some candles going over to my left, and flowers to my left as well. Fairy lights behind me, old windows, nature scenes, water, trees, fall paths. Narrative, a year of coming home to yourself. Less striving, more inhabiting. I really like that. Leveraging what you've learned emotionally, creatively, and relationally, and letting life feel good again. So here are some names that Chat gave for this board. Soft return, romantic groundedness, embodied ease, sensual simplicity. The one I like the best is soft return. Okay. The keywords that Chat generated I like the best are emotional safety, slow devotion, grounded sensuality, lived in beauty, nervous system ease, warm becoming. And the affirmations I really liked are: I am safe to soften, my body is a home, not a project. I move at the speed of truth, not urgency. Pleasure and responsibility can coexist. That's a really good one. Leveraging what I've learned. It's good. Okay. And here are Chat's fashion and style guidelines that go with my 2026 board. Flowing, draped, wrapped styles, bias cut skirts. Okay, I'm not going to take this one because I don't like the look of bias cut skirts, but I understand what it's saying. Skirts that are cut on the bias do have a certain flow and drape to them. Relaxed trousers. I don't wear a lot of pants, so I'm throwing out that idea. Soft waist definition. Off shoulder, scoop neck, open backs. I do like all of those. Linen, silk, cotton, modal, ribbed knits, soft wool blends, nothing stiff, scratchy, or overly structured. And here's the thing I am noticing, I'm gravitating more and more to things that are more flowy. For example, I do like the sweater, but it does feel a little bit overly constricting and structured for me. So I do want to move more towards flowy things. It is hard for the winter though, because this summer I have a lot of strappy sundresses that I love to wear. A sundress, earrings, sandals, call it a day. My favorite outfit combination. It's a little bit hard in the winter time to be able to do that. So if you have any suggestions for me for winter clothing that's warm and still flowy and matches this mood board, definitely let me know. Okay. Minimal gold or brass jewelry, natural hair, loose waves, braids, scarves, leather flats, sandals, low boots. I do want to wear some heels, which I know is not what it's suggesting, but I do like a good heel. Okay. Sleep consistency, I need that. Walking, stretching, breath-led practices, need those. Romance as presence, not intensity. Ooh, that could be a whole other YouTube video about me chasing fireworks in relationships. Music as devotion, not output. Play, write, sing without monetizing every moment. That's hard when your job is to be a musician, but I do think that's important to recapture some of the love of the game. Let inspiration be cyclical. Fewer projects, deeper immersion. Create from fullness, not pressure. Okay, work and money. Sustainable income, humane pacing. Work that supports your body and life rhythm. Fewer hours, higher alignment. Everybody wants this chat. This is not revolutionary. Okay, leveraging what you've learned rather than starting from zero. That's great. Beauty, care, and presence as value, not grind. Okay, a little bit about travel and wandering. I do like this idea of keeping familiar rituals even when you're away. Music, tea, journals. I think that's important because for me personally, when I travel, sometimes I feel really ungrounded between the actual act of traveling, being jet lagged, not sleeping in my own bed, being in a hotel, living out of a suitcase. It can be a very destabilizing experience, even though it's obviously a privilege and a fun thing to do. So I like the idea of keeping those familiar rituals. Okay, one sentence 2026 thesis. 2026 is the year you stop bracing and start inhabiting your body, your creativity, your relationships, and your life. I love that. Okay, then I asked, well, let's take a look at 2026 one more time. Okay. So, tell me if you think chat's assessment of my 2026 board is accurate. Okay. Then I asked chat, can you describe last year's board? And it said the core vibe of last year's 2025's board is becoming, proving, and emerging. Forward-leaning energy, aspirational, identity forming, and slightly braced. I think that's very interesting. Movement, intention, and self-definition, but also a sense of needing to arrive somewhere. The emotional tone was determined, hopeful but restless, self-aware, self-shaping, hungry, vigilant, emotionally intense rather than calm. More sympathetic activation, motivation driven rather than ease driven, pushing through, choosing. Safety imagined as a future state, not a present one. Transitional. Okay, let's go back to the board. Our 2025. So it is interesting because there are a lot of relaxing images, but I guess it's pulling from images like this woman in the heels, putting the heels on, the woman dancing. The clothing is more structured, collared shirt, sweater, pantyhose, heels, blazer, coat with a lapel. Even the dog has a sweater on. Perfectly made bed. So there's certain things in here that do look more relaxed, but I can kind of see what it's saying. So feminine becoming rather than embodied feminine, beauty as aspiration, power through discipline, direction, clarity, more structure, edges, and intention. Okay. That is interesting. I don't really know where it's pulling from there. Okay. This board reads like, I am deciding who I am, what I want, and what I will no longer tolerate. There's a strong self-authorship thread. Aesthetic feel, cleaner, sharper contrasts, that is true with the images, more defined, more defined silhouettes, true, like I said with the blazers and coats and heels, less lived in, more designed, beauty is intentional, not yet relaxed. Okay. If I had to name last year's board, threshold to the becoming year, claiming shape, softness, under construction. I kind of don't like any of those names, but it is what it is. So let's go back and look at them again. This is my 2025 board. Okay. 2026 board. All right, so do you think Chat's assessment is correct of these boards? Also, do you have any ideas for me for how I can pull inspiration from my 2026 board and apply it into my life? Because that's my goal for 2026, is to actually feel the way that my vision board feels instead of just having some photos for my camera reel that match up with the board. I actually want to feel this way, this lifestyle on a day-to-day basis. Anyways, let me know. And for now, I'm going to sign off and have the rest of my New Year's Prosecco. Happy New Year's.